Hey there, good morning. I'm John. Today is Monday, May 13th, 2024. Welcome to the first of a new week of daily vlogs, my regular ritual stand-up where I talk about what I've done before and what I'm doing next to make content creation indefinitely sustainable. So I guess we'll start with the Friday, but I'll remind you that this weekend it was one of those weekends that wasn't a weekend, by which I mean I wasn't working, but it was booked solid. We had a great time, but my daughter drove up, and all three of us, my wife and my daughter, drove over to Alabama for the wedding of my niece, and got to see a lot of family over there on my wife's side. We had a nice time. We just stayed overnight, and then we drove back. But it was one of those things that started at 7 a.m. on Saturday, and we got home at 7 p.m. on Sunday, and it was booked. So I don't feel like a relaxed weekend. You know how you have a vacation, you're like, I need a vacation to recover from my vacation. That's how I feel this morning. But a nice time, great time, nice service. Just all around good to see a bunch of people I hadn't seen in a while, but exhausting. I want to say it was about, how much driving? About 12 hours of driving. Yeah, maybe 13 or so. Yeah. It is a bit, but it was a nice time. Okay, let's talk about Friday leading into that. I remember I told you I had people coming over. My mom was coming to watch the house, and my daughter was coming up. So I was trying not to do a whole lot. I failed at not doing a whole lot because when they arrived, they got here late afternoon. So what I did was kind of waiting to see when people were going to show up. I'm like, what can I chip away at? So I started working on chopping up the Gary Kitchen interview into short videos. I even released one by, I think, early afternoon, and it did maybe, 8,000 views or something. It was more popular than an average short. It did very well. I released a second one too, and it hasn't done well yet, but I bet it does okay. So we'll see how it goes. So got a couple of those in the can and one released. And then, of course, the Friday plays came out early in the afternoon. This was Indiana Jones this time around. Another great performing Friday plays since Friday at 3 p.m. It's done 8,500 views. So, yeah. If there was any doubt, this is a series. I don't know when this is going to ever stop because it's great to have a regular Friday thing. I think it helps not only that it's popular and it's helping the stats, but also a reliable thing that if someone can find one thing they like, they can know it's going to happen every single Friday. It gives them a good reason to stick around and pay attention. So I think that's become I wouldn't want to have one for every day. Like Tuesday, you'll release one of these. Like you couldn't keep up. But because these are fairly lightweight and kind of light, both in tone and effort, I think it's become a really good cornerstone. So yeah. Then on the end of Friday, we did a little podcast recording. I think I told you we're doing a rewind cycle. We ended up not doing some other recordings I wanted to do during that session because George has caught the flu. But we got knocked out what we needed to for the rewind cycle, and we'll get some more of that. Recorded later as we're able. Let's talk stats then. So a pretty good weekend. Stats are up generally, so not tremendously, but measurably. I'd like to be at 10,000 views and 50 subscribers average over the last 7 days, and we're at 12,000 views and 45 subscribers. Just a little creep up. That's good. When we spoke on Friday, we were right on the edge. I think we were 15 away from hitting 48,900. Well, not only did we hit 49,000, we rolled over the first 100 already. 49,100 and just a few. So, well on our way. 1/10 of the way from here to 50K is already done. So, see how the week progresses and see how as we approach. So yeah, 50K is on the horizon. Rather than focus on that, focus on what's happening today. So let me talk about that. Since I kind of had no downtime weekend, I have some stuff. I'm going to take a little bit of R&R today, take it a little bit lighter. I need to run some errands that I didn't get done over the weekend because I was out of town. But this is the release of the US Games tier release. I released it to members on Saturday. Before I hit the road, and now it'll come out for everyone today, and I hope it does well. We'll see how that does. Also, I'm planning for a Basic Fun follow-up. I did a video a couple of weeks ago about the potential of those coming back into the stores. Well, I got my hands on one now, so we can do a real-time comparison of what these are. I also need to decide what I'm doing for Friday plays. I have one front-runner candidate that is a real wild card. I need to play it a little bit more to see. I guess the question is, does it have to be one of my favorite games to do as a Friday Plays? I don't think so, as long as it's something interesting. And so I'm going to try. Look, we did some anomalous, not top of the. We did the Smurf that everybody kind of said they liked but didn't vote on. I'm going to try another one that I think very few people have even heard of, but it was recommended by someone. I'm like, yeah, give it a shot. Let's try it. That's my front runner. I haven't decided on it yet, but anyway, we'll see how it goes. And then I need to do a little bit of prep, for tomorrow's pod edit, which will be very brief, probably less than an hour, because it'll just be taking an old episode and re-editing it in the format of a rewind. So we'll see how that. Shouldn't take much effort today to get the elements, audio processing and stuff like that done. So the only thing I'll note is that over the weekend. I remember a few weeks ago when we dealt with some trolls, that kind of thing. Trolls really is just somebody that's, trying to cause problems. That wasn't the case, but we did have someone we had to, I didn't say we, I did, had to, the hide from the channel. It was one of those, and it wasn't someone who was there to cause problems. It was someone who, their initial reaction to something was, name calling and rudeness. And my initial response was, I just said, hey, differing opinions are always welcome. Rudeness and name calling are not. And it was things like, look, it's like, I believe X. And somebody else goes, no, I believe Y. I don't think X makes a lot of sense. Here's why I think Y. And that is wonderful and constructive. Look, we don't all have to believe the same things to get along. We can disagree. But this was one of those, if you believe X, you are blah, 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 and if you are a piece of whatever, things like that. I'm like, and I thought it was anomalous, and then I looked, and there was a message on 2 or 3 videos, because one of them didn't post because it got flagged for foul language, which I'm not worried about the foul language. You can say whatever the shit you want, right? But YouTube does a pretty good job of detecting really harsh stuff. It does a pretty good job of it. And so I saw that, plus some other things that made it through. It was a pattern of that kind of behavior. Even going to follow his message from one video to the other because he was afraid people didn't hear his vitriol. So, gone. And I don't mind. It didn't bother me. I'm like, you know what? Poisoning the well. There's positivity here, people having a good time, people having a discussion, and here's somebody going, if you don't agree, you're garbage, you're not welcome. So, I'm sure it's not you, because you're here hanging out with me. It's somebody who doesn't know what the vibe is at GenXGrownUp, and they thought they could just come in and start kicking over tables and chairs, and that's not how we handle housekeeping. All right, so I'm going to get busy with what I have to do today, try to be as productive as I can, make sure I have the week lined out, and get stuff done, and monitor that release of the tier today. I'm excited to see how that performs. Thank you for popping in to check out today's vlog. If you did, if you're here every day, I love you for that. Please remember to do something good for yourself on this Monday. Monday's the most important day to do it because it's Monday. And I'll talk to you again next day. Bye-bye.